Hey everybody, and welcome back to E&W Farms. Tonight we're going to work on something a little different. The last couple of videos we worked on tractors, and I'm a little tired of working on tractors and skid steers and that kind of stuff. And so we are going to work on the Case International 8520, or this is the same baler if you run a Heston 4550. And New Idea also produced this baler, or Heston produced it for New Idea. I don't know the model number for it, but this is the same platform baler, and you can buy parts through any of the dealers, either AGCO or through Case International, either one. But we choose to buy them through AGCO because that's the closest dealer that we have. So what we're doing tonight is we're putting what is referred to as the shocks back on the hay dogs, and I'll show you those here the hay dogs here in just a second. But I want to show you what the little shock looks like. And this is one of those things, these are a disposable part in a sense. They're a rubber block. Part number on these. Just a couple parts here. Okay, so these are part number 700108418, and that is the backing plate washer. This pouch here is for the actual rubber bushing, and it's part number 700727088, and it gets you this little rubber washer. It's elongated and tapered down in the hole to make it lock on, but you need a total of, I think it's 5 for this baler. This baler was missing several of these when we bought it, but I put them on first time, and I didn't realize it until I put the hitch back together on it back earlier in the winter that these were missing. So let me take you over here and show you where we're talking about. So here are the hay dogs on the side of the chute. That's what it actually looks like. And that guy's job is to, as the plunger pushes the flake up, he reaches through the chute chamber. Get you where you can see that. Okay, so there you can see the dog sticking in the chamber. There's one there, there's one high, there's one in the center, and there's 2 over there. There's not anything down in the bottom. You can see those 2 triangle pieces there. Those are the actual, the lower knives. And it looks like we've run some kind of stick or something big through that one on the left. You see that big gouge in it. And then there, directly right in front of you, that is the plunger with the plunger knives. And so that's actually what cuts the hay off and makes it go on back. Right in here, where those 2 twine, rolls of twine are right there, or runs of twine, that's where the actual needles come up through the baler and tie the front of the bell off. And then there's the knotter assembly that actually makes the knot. So we will grease this up before we go to the field, and then every 1,000 bells is when I re-grease. And all this stuff on the knotter up here gets about 1 pump of grease is all it gets. But there's some video from last summer of greasing the baler and getting it ready. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to put these hay dog springs on. You can see right there on that hay dog, you can see the black washer or the rubber bushing there, and then the backing plate. So that's what we're going to have to do down here on these. And the way I do that is I just pull them out and hold them out away from the machine. So I'm gonna set you up here on the side of the machine and let you watch me replace these. I was trying to figure out the other day how many bells have been on this baler. I've probably put 6,000 to 9,000 squares through this baler. Like I said, I had to put these on when we bought the baler. but that was the last time. So the way I figure it, once every 9,000 bells ain't that bad. So that's all it takes to put it on. That one's missing one too. Grab me another one here. So this is another one of those, let's talk about cost of repair. So Dad picked these up for me yesterday. I think he said there was 6 of these backing plates and 6 bushings. Come to a running whopping grand total of $236. So, how do you know if your hay dogs are missing the bushings? You notice that dead sound that it makes there? You won't hear them hitting. I had noticed when we finished last year that this baler had gotten louder. So that's what you'll hear if there's no hay dog bushings. They actually, like I said, they refer to this as a shock. There you go. That's the difference. So let's jump over on the other side and see how many we're missing over there. So on this side, a little easier to see in here. You can see the lower one's still there, the upper one's still there. So we're in good shape. Check all our chains and everything. All the knotters. There's my camera to watch my strings so I can see coming out the back of the chute, and then I have another one that would be mounted on the Norden accumulator. There's what this baler done last season. 2,528 bales. We'll walk over here and look at the other baler. This video is gonna be short. So we'll look at the 575 too. Need to put twine in it before we start. So let's talk a little bit about what we keep in the twine box. Baby powder. Baby powder's there for the Coons accumulator to make it slick. I also keep 2 buckets of shear bolts. These are the main shear bolts. You notice I wrote on top of them what it was. It's a 7/16 by 14 by 2 1/8. I think we run 2" or 2.5" in that one. It's a little long, but go to Tractor Supply and buy your bolts. This is the flywheel shear bolt. They're 5/16 by 18 by 2. When it comes to shear pins and stuff on these, if you're not familiar with them, this is the main shear pin. This one here is the main one that breaks. And if you break it, sometimes you'll get away without breaking the flywheel one. The flywheel one's right here. Usually if you break the flywheel when you accomplish something. You can see these chains are gray. I put a dry graphite base chain lube on, and that just keeps the dust from sticking to my chains and wearing my chains out. The last thing we'll do before we start is we'll check gearbox oil level. Seems like there's a plug back here on the back of this one, and you take it out, and if the gear oil runs out of it, that's full. But these balers are super easy and simple to take care of. That is the smallest baler in the baler lineup in that time period. And so the difference between the 8520s and the 8530s, pretty much they bale the same size of bale. The 30 had a bigger pickup head. The 20 has a 60-inch pickup head, and the 8530 or I think it was a 4590, has a 72-inch pickup head, which would be nice at times. We rake with a rotary rake with this baler to narrow that windrow up and actually fluff that windrow up enough to where that you can get it to go in the baler better and get some more air through it to dry the hay down. Here's our backup baler. So this is a New Holland 575. This was a local baler that a gentleman bought, and we wound up getting an opportunity to buy. When we bought it, we were told it had less than 10,000 bales run through it, and it showed signs of less than that. So this baler baled 469 bales. So right at what this baler baled and that other bale, we baled right at 3,000 square bales last summer. So it's a pretty productive summer. We're slated to do more than that this year, so we need to check this one out just to be sure. When we bought our Norden accumulator, they come with one chute to go on the back of the chute of the baler. I bought a second one, and I keep a second belt that's already matched up for each machine, and keep them in the twine box. You can see right there, to where that in the event of a breakdown like what we had last summer, where we broke the tongue out of the 8520, we can go right to the barn, pick the baler up. We can go right to the barn, pick the baler up, and go right back to the field and go back to baling in just a short amount of time. It's, if you're a hay producer, you know whenever it's go time, it's go time. Especially like right now. We're 2 weeks behind on cutting hay. A lot of people in other parts of the country have already started. We have yet to start. And so whenever it's go time, it's going to be go time for sure this time. So thanks for stopping in at ENW Farms. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're not a subscriber. Like our video, leave us a comment. Let us know, do you still build square bales? Dad was kind of cracked up yesterday when he went in the parts store and picked parts up for me. Because the little guy there where we get our parts from, he said he didn't sell many of these parts anymore for these square balers because most people didn't square bale anymore. And so he was kind of surprised when Dad told him how many bales we did, and that there were still people using old balers to do it with. But we still square bale. Let us know if you still square bale, and we'll go from there. So catch you in the next video. Thanks for stopping by.